Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second workshop of Learn Initiative by Reskill and Sparkyar. I hope you have practiced your AR effects, which you have learned yesterday in the first workshop. So, today, Pal will be teaching you some more elements, some more features of Sparkyar Studio, and he'll be teaching you about the Sparkyar policies. So, all said, over to you, Pal.
Hello everyone, good evening. I hope you are curious to get started for the day 2. So let's get started. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if it's visible. Yeah. Am I audible properly and my screen is visible?
Yes.
So yeah, our learning checklist for today will be understanding the advanced capabilities of an AR effect, Spark AR policies. We published an effect yesterday, but those who are having any problems or troubleshooting for them, I will show the process with a demo video and icon. And post that, we can have FAQs and other bonus tips. So let's get started. Understanding the advanced capabilities of an AR effect. So there are certain capabilities. One which we will be using for today's workshop is user segmentation, and another is how to add audio into the effect. So there are various type of segmentation present in Spark AR Studio, which will be looking into it. And second is how to add your own effect or how to add your own audio into the effect. So let's get started. Let's open our Spark AR Studio. So this is the introduction or the starting UI, which I explained it yesterday. We'll be using the templates, or there's also a template for background segmentation. This is known as background. If you click on it, it will open. So yeah, you can see my screen. So this is how the effect looks like, and I'm revising it from yesterday's workshop. This is scene panel. This is our assets panel where all our assets are stored. So this is our viewport, and this is camera, and this is the simulator window. So this is a pre-made file which is very helpful to get started if you want to understand how the functionality works and how it's used. We'll be building the same file from scratch, so don't need to worry. I was just explaining how the file works. So go to the start, create new, select sharing experiences. Well, so yeah, this is our scratch file, untitled file. Will be I've shared a link. Kaskar will share it in the chat where you can have the images which will be using for background segmentation. You can also use of your own, but I've shared if you want to use the same of mine. We'll be adding our assets first. You can download those images and then go to the path or directory where the images are stored. Go to the background segmentation. Yeah, so these are the images which will be using for today's workshop for background segmentation. Select all and open. Those textures will get added into our effect. You can add of your own images as well or custom images as per your requirement. Make sure those are royalty free and no copyright issues. I'll be adding on more. I will be explaining more regarding that and regarding the Spark AR policies side. So I hope everybody has opened the file, added the textures or if they found the textures online, they can download it. So till the time we'll wait or we'll get started later with the scene panel. You can see our textures are getting compressed. It's based upon our requirement. If we want the textures to get compressed, if those are high quality images, because currently in each image is of, one is of, you can see if I select all my images, those comprise of 1.3 MB. So that is a little higher resolution image. But if you want to compress those image, you can go by automatic compression, or if you don't want them to compress, you want them to stay at high quality, but make sure those images or whole project file should be less than 4 MB for Instagram and 10 MB for Facebook. So as we know, our file won't be more than 2 MB, so we'll be making the compression none, so that whatever the image we add, it opens with high clarity and or high resolution for all the devices. We'll select for the others as well. Till the time, make sure you add the assets and the textures in your Spark AR Studio. So we have made all the compression none for all the settings for iOS, Android and older Android. Now we'll be adding a canvas into our scene panel. Go click on plus, select canvas, click enter. A canvas will be added. Like explained yesterday, canvas with a naming convention 0, that's the normal naming convention in Spark AR Studio. So that's how the objects gets added. And what is this canvas? Canvas is the dimensions of the devices, and you can see a blue color border regarding the same. So that's the resolution or dimensions of the devices. It can vary. Currently, if you can see the size, it's 390 by 844 because the current device is iOS device, that's 13 Pro resolution. I can change to 13 Pro Max. The size will increase. So it's basically the dimensions of the devices. We'll be adding a rectangle. So currently the height and width are by default 100, and you can make it full width, full height. Make sure it's relative, because if you will keep it fixed, so it will stay fixed for those numbers. If it's 428 by 926, but if you will change the device, if there's some other device opens your filter which has been triggered to this dimensions 428 by 926, it won't open properly. So that's why make sure it's relative, full width and full height, so that irrespective of the dimensions, your textures get applied. So the basic naming convention which I keep is, it's easier to understand, so I will rename it to UI, that is user interface. And first will be our, what we can say, we can keep user, will be duplicating it by right click, press Ctrl D or select duplicate option, and background. You can name it BG or background, the name you want. So we have added the scene which we want to add, that is canvas and two rectangles. Now we'll create material for them, because currently no material is applied. That's why you can see the checkerboard. And before adding a material, we'll be using camera, will be extracting texture. So basically camera texture is a texture which we see on the device, the feed or the live feed or the data which is being showed on the screen of the user. So that's the same. So we are fetching those data or those feed. It comes as a naming convention texture 0, and we want to even segment the user so that the background changes. So we'll be extracting person segmentation. So currently we have three types of segmentation, that is person segmentation, head segmentation and skin segmentation. As per our requirement, we can choose any one. So currently we need person segmentation. So right now you can see in textures, we have all our textures, background textures and camera texture as well. So we'll rename it to live feed. You can rename as per what convenient is to you. Because if those are big names or different complex names, even you might get confused. And I will name it to person segmentation. SEG, yeah, person segmentation. So now our textures are ready. We just need to create material for each of them. We'll be creating our first material, that will be user mat. Like I explained yesterday, you can give the naming convention for the materials based upon their objects. If you're creating a material for user, name it as user mat. So it's easy and simpler to understand. Now we'll be creating it for background. Yeah. So it will be BG mat. BG mat. Now select those by shift. Select both the materials. Then you can go to shader type, select from standard, change it to flat. Just a second, there's some delay in software. Yeah, change it to flat. Make the same process for the user. Yeah. So now we'll apply those material to the objects, that is user will apply user mat. And for BG will apply background mat. So now you can see there's no checkerboard visible because we have applied material to our objects. Our user material will have a texture, that is live field, and our background will contain our background images, and we'll be changing the alpha. I hope till here everyone understood the way or the flow. Now we'll be applying the alpha. So basically what alpha does is it's only take those values, and apart from that it masks. So we'll be providing person segmentation. So what it will do, it will be segment the user. So what it has done, it has taken the alpha of the person's border or person or a user present in an effect. So we don't want to segment the user, we want to segment the background. So we'll invert those properties. It's just what we do is if you want to segment X, then invert will do is 1 minus X type. It will invert those property. So now we have created our base file. So save it first. Make sure you save the file at the proper place, which you can find it later. AR files, you can name it as BG segmentation. It's background segmentation, and save it. So after saving the file, let's add the background. I hope till here the pace was proper and everyone understood it. So now we'll be adding the logic towards our background, for which you can open the patch editor. The shortcut to open patch editor is Ctrl Alt P. For Windows or for Mac, it's Alt Command P. So we'll create an option picker, which we created yesterday. Because we have 4 textures, so we'll be creating inputs for 4 only. You can right click on it, select number of inputs, 4. You need to change the data type to texture, and now add the textures. So the output from the option picker, you can name it the patch as background options. Yeah. The output of this background option will be the input for the background matte diffuse texture. You can also change the color. So by changing the color, you can see the color of the background gets changed. If you want to change the color, you can change it, or you can keep it white. We will add the textures towards it. So now you can see a texture has been added. If we are manipulating the values, the background is getting changed. You can see the viewport as well as simulator window. We'll be creating the logic to change on screen tab. Now you need to add the screen tab option. Just like we did yesterday, whenever the user taps on the screen, a pulse is generated. Here a pulse is generated, which will be creating the output to counter. So whenever the user taps on the screen, it should increase the counter so that the background changes. The maximum count would be 4 for our effect connected to the input of background options. Now you can see if a user taps on the screen, the background changes. And again it switches back to 0. It's like synchronized loop. So this is how you can create a background segmentation effect where you can, the background segmentation is applicable for both the platforms, that is Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to use a certain segmentation capability, that is either hair segmentation or skin segmentation, then you can only use it for Instagram platform. To use hair segmentation, or it will be only accessible to use for Instagram, it won't be possible for Facebook. So let's get to other one. Just a second. So this is how we have created our background segmentation. Let's switch to, just a second. I'm resharing my screen. Yeah. So we have added the screen tab. We can change it to other. So we have added the screen tab. Now it's time to apply the instructions. Because it's like how I explained yesterday, we guys know on screen tab the effect, the background will change. But what if we want others to understand how to change the background? So we'll be adding instructions. You can go to device, you can go to custom instructions, then you can go to tap to change option. So it will automatically create an logic for the same. You can increase it to fifth from time which is less than 5 to you can keep it to 7 seconds. That is the basic time required for a user to check the effect. This is how you can see the option tap to change. When the user will tap, it will change. So the first part of our advanced capability is finished, like how to change the background, how to use create a background segmentation effect. So this is how you can create a background segmentation effect. I hope till here it was clear to everyone. If you have any queries, do post in comment section. So we'll move to our deck once again. So yeah, let's switch to our presentation. That is, second slide is how to add audio into your effect. We'll be adding audio. For that, let's open a browser, go to our browser window. You can either search for royalty free music on Chrome, and the first website you will see is Ben Sound. So just to explain it, how you can import your own audio or a different audio which is not having an extension apart from M4A. Because Spark AI Studio only takes as an input as a M4A format, that should be mono audio. If you are having any MP3 or MP4 file, you want to add it to Spark AI Studio, you will need to convert it. So I will show how to do that. You can go to any royalty free platform, select a song or audio, then you can download. Let's take it, this one, all that. Download. So I'm showcasing a live example how to do that. You can see the audio has been downloaded. It's an MP3 format. But to make it accessible for Spark AI Studio, you will need to convert it. And for that, you can go to onlineconvert.com. You will get an option to convert M4A. I will show how you can do from browser. You can go to google.com. You can write MP3 to M4A. You will see an option known as onlineconvert.com. So it's the same website which we have opened here. So this is how it's going to look, where you can drag and drop your file, or you can choose your file, which we have downloaded recently. So it will be all that. Open. The file is uploading. So now the more important thing is the audio frequency, audio channel, and the audio codec. For to make it what we can say usable for Spark AI Studio, you will need to select 44,000 44,100 megahertz. That is 44.1 kilo megahertz. That's the only frequency which is workable for Spark AI Studio. Change audio channel to mono because it only takes monotonous audio. The codec should be AAC. So these are the certain properties which you can use. And if you want the audio is more than two, like we saw here, the audio is of 2 minutes 26 seconds. But if you want to trim it, you can also trim it by providing the exact data you want. Like if you want from the start to the starting 15 seconds or 30 seconds, you can name it. And you can click on the process, make sure it's 44.1 kilohertz, audio channel is mono, and codec is AAC. Now you can start the process. So our M4A audio is ready to import in Spark AI Studio. Let's go back to Spark AI Studio. Let's import our audio. Click on plus icon, select import from computer. You can go to the file where it's downloaded. You can select on all that. You can click open. Now you can see our audio has been successfully added. If you will select the audio, you will click on play button. You will be able to hear it. It's quite a good melody. So there are two ways to add an audio into Spark AI Studio. I'll be showcasing both the ways. First, to play an audio, the basic or minimalistic thing required is to add a speaker, which will make your audio audible in the effect. So we'll need to add a speaker, search for speaker, click enter, and import it. The naming convention which we showed earlier, it starts with 0. We'll rename it to just speaker. So now we have our audio, we have our speaker. Now we need to create an audio controller which controls when to play the audio. Should we keep on loop? Playback controller, select audio playback controller. Now create this. You can BG audio background audio controller. You can give the name as per your choice. You can select the audio. You can go to speaker. You can select the audio controller, that is BG audio controller. So this is how our audio, one approach of audio controller is set up. If you will select play on loop, so it will play infinite times on loop from the start. If you want to just play it once, select the play, it will only play once. It won't play on loop. Then this is one approach, and the other approach is to create logic inside the patch editor without a playback controller. What you can do is you can search for single clip playback controller. Here is the single clip playback controller, then audio controller. You can go to audio, you can go to audio player, add. So this is the controller. You can click, select the input of the controller inside the player. Now we'll need to drag and drop, or you can double click, drag and drop the file and pass it in the audio clip. And we'll need to pass it to the speaker. So that speaker gets to know which file to play. You need to create an input for the audio. You can keep the volume as per your requirement. If you want to keep it 100, you want to reduce it, you can change it. Now the second approach is ready, but when to trigger this effect, to when to give it a pulse, you can select that. If you want that it play at the start in the loop and it should loop, you can create a pulse patch, keep it on and pass on the inputs to the single clip controller. You can see it started playing. So instead of pulse patch here, you can keep any condition you want. So it's like what we can keep is we can take a runtime patch. So if you want to keep it at the starting as a background, it should play. You can keep runtime greater than condition. It's like if we want to play at the start greater than 0, it will pass on a Boolean value now to create a pulse and create the output to play and on loop. So this is how whenever the runtime is greater than 0, it will play the audio. Make sure you use royalty-free audio, royalty-free assets, and it should be free from copyright. And you can also you can select the asset library or AR library. You can go to sounds, music and sound. There are some pre-existing what we can say audios present in this. You can use any of those as per your requirement. You can select play. If you like those sound, you can add it. You can click on import free. It will get imported here. So these are you can have various musics. You have sound effects. You have ambient sound. If you want to if you want to use pre-existing ones, you can check out asset library or AR library. If you want to add something on your own, I showed you the way how you can do. You can add your own MP3 file by converting into M4A with certain criteria and add into your effect. So this is how we add an audio inside a Spark AR Studio into your effect. You can change it. Like if you don't want to use with the patch editor approach, you can create with the playback controller approach. You can go to speaker, you can just apply the audio, background audio controller. You can save the file. Reset it. And 1 minute, we need to enable it. We need to keep on loop. And you can see a microphone patch here. If you don't want that user to record whatever the sound, what are the surrounding noise or surrounding audio it's there to get recorded inside the video, you can also disable the microphone so that it will only play the audio which you have added into your effect, not the environmental sound. So it would hinder that audio. It's like if you want it that way, you can keep that way based upon your requirement. And now we have successfully added the audio as well. We can generate a test link. You can choose the platform you want. You can click on send. It will be created. You will get notified from Instagram app, like in such a way that preview.export has been by your username is ready to try. You can click that link and click on continue so that you will be able to test it out. So preview.export by your username, it's ready. I've got the notification on my phone as well. You can open that and test it out. I hope till here the process was clear. If there's any query, you can post in comment section. So this is how you can create an advanced capability, because all the effects which we created for the day one, it was just a normal effect. We added immersiveness, we added creativity, but to add on top of it, because of effect, having a sound makes it more creative and immersive for the user to try. And then if there's interactivity between the user, because if you directly give only one thing to user and there won't be an interactive process, it will not make them stay longer for that effect. So that's why to make your process more creative, interactive, and immersive, you can use this advanced capabilities. You can add audio, you can add images. So this is how it works. Let's go back to our presentation. We'll be looking forward towards the Spark AR policies. The first part is part one, effects. The first point on that is performance. Effect must perform as expected and provide a stable experience. So whatever the effect you create must perform as per our requirement. It shouldn't be laggy. Effect must be responsive, run without stuttering or lagging. You shouldn't be adding some huge file or some logic in that way which can make your effect laggy. It won't be efficient, or its performance won't be proper. Effect must load in reasonable amount of time. That's also true. To increase the performance, make sure you follow these two rules. The second point is 1.2, visual text and voice intents. Voice text and voice instance must not prompt people to navigate away from the effect or of Facebook, Instagram, message, or portal platforms. So whatever the instructions you can add, either it's audio, either it's visual instruction, it shouldn't intend to prompt user to navigate from their own platform to somewhere else. Like you can't add what we can say, add me on Snap or any visual or textual way which makes the user to switch to another platform. That's against the policy. The third point is custom controls. For example, controls that changes the size or shape of an object must be attached to the tracker, such as plane tracker, face tracker, target tracker. Custom controls are not attached to the trackers are not allowed. So basically, you can't keep buttons on the UI. You can use UI picker. That's just a custom set of instructions which is available by Spark AR Studio. You can use that, but you can't have the on your own custom buttons if it's not attached to a tracker. So yesterday, how the rays were attached to face tracker, then the same way you can't keep. Even same way, if you want to keep button, you can keep, but if it's not attached to the tracker, you can't utilize it. The fourth point is capabilities. Effect must only use capabilities permitted on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Portal. So we can to create effects for Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Portal. You can only use those set of capabilities which are permitted by them. We can't use apart from that. Existing media support, where an effect is enabled for existing media support, the design of the effect must be suitable for both vertical and horizontal photos or the videos. Like I showed yesterday on simulator, if you want to try out the texture, it should be in which format. You can either it should be in vertical, either it should be horizontal, based upon your requirement. Make sure it's sustainable for both. The metadata and media, part 2. Names. Effect names appear alongside effects when used or shared on Facebook, Instagram, or Messenger and portal. Names must not be duplicated. Every effect published by a single owner must have a different name. So you can't upload various effects on your account by keeping the same name. It should have a different and unique names. Names must not contain the Instagram account the effect is attributed to or any variation thereof. So you can't name a filter like of your own custom your own Instagram name, a username. It's strictly prohibited. Then other point is demo videos. Demo videos are used to showcase effects. Demo videos must accurately demonstrate effects, features, and capabilities being used by someone. So whatever the demo video will record, it's 14-second video. Maximum can be a 14-second duration. It should demonstrate what your effect is trying to showcase, achieve, or create for the user. What's in for the user? That's basically the demo video explains how the effect works. What are you trying to convey to the users? For video calling effects, demo videos must be screen recording of a video call. Only and only for video calling effects, you can screen record. You can screen record a video call with an effect applied. But for others, you can't use stock videos. Includes model using Spark AR to simulator. So whatever the videos which we saw on Spark AR simulator videos, you can't use that, and you can't record it and post it as a demo video. No recordings of image or other videos. Metadata in media, that's third is icon. Icon must not contains models used in Spark AR simulated video. So you can't keep an what we can say effect icon to be the same as simulator videos. You need to have it unique or apart from simulator videos. Categories. So basically your icon should portray your effect, what your effect is about. It should be directly those visual representation which tells more precisely or clearly about your effect. That should be your icon. Categories. Categories selected for an effect must accurately represent the content of the effect. Spark AR may change the categories if it feels the effect is better suited for the other category. Yesterday, while publishing an effect, we saw various categories like either it's selfie mode, sci-fi, fandom, or it was like world space. So there are certain sets of categories which what are the category your effect fits in proper, you can select those categories. AR content standards, Facebook community standards, Instagram community guidelines. Make sure whatever the effect you create, it follows those community guidelines. Suitability for user base. Content must be suitable for consumption by the Facebook general user base, including those who have aged above. So that's legal age for consuming the content. It can vary based upon countries to countries. Content must not be shocking, sensational, disrespectful, or violent, or depict guns, knives, or weapons. So this is an important point. Make sure you never, while creating an effect, you never use guns, knives, or anything which is disrespectful or violent, or any other weapons as an asset. Texture content must not promote illegal products, services, activities, or content that is inappropriate or unsafe. Content must not promote alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, pharmaceutical, medical products, nor be published by the brand associated with such products. So, whatever the effect or content you create, that should not contain those side of things which is mentioned in this point, or any company which is associated with those products as well. Content must not be of adult or sexual nature. For example, nudity depictions of people in explicit or suggestive positions or activities, suggestive, provocative. Content must not discriminate against, harass, provoke, or disparage people. Content must not claim to assess people based upon their protected characteristics, that's race, ethnicity, national origin, religious affiliations, etc. You should keep in mind those perspectives while creating an effect. Content must not make criminal allegations. Content must not promote the use or depict the sale of a potentially dangerous cosmetic procedure as per Facebook community standards. This include effects that depicts such procedures through surgery lines. So it should not be a dangerous cosmetic procedure. You can have a makeup product, but not this which is dangerous to them. It's against the Facebook community guidelines. Gambling. Content must not promote online gambling, online games of skill that use real money, or online lotteries. External links or tags. So this is also an important point. Content must not contain tags, links of Facebook, Instagram, or portal. So you can't create an effect with tags. Content must not contain any of the following URL, QR codes, or scannable codes. So you can't name an effect with a URL or what scannable codes. You can't add assets which are scannable. However, effect may contain the following social media handles with no call to action. You can add social media handles, but there should be no call to action. It's like follow at the rate your username. So that you can't keep that. URL which form part of a company name. Then it's spam. Content must not be spammy, misleading, or deceptive. Intellectual property infringement, that's where the part of copyrights or royalty free thing comes. If it's owned by someone or some agency or some company, you can't use those intellectual property. It's infringement. Content must not infringe upon the intellectual property of Facebook Inc., its affiliate, or other third parties. Branding element of the Meta family apps devices content must follow the guidelines in the Brand Resource Center. Third party rights. Content must not infringe upon or violate the rights of any third party, including copyright, trademark, privacy, publicity, and other personal or proprietary rights. So this were all the Spark AR policies. Like I explained yesterday, I hope this were easy to explain and self-explanatory. You can refer those Spark AR guidelines on Spark AR website. So are you ready to publish a first Instagram effect? Let's go back to the dashboard. So yesterday we published a file, but we didn't submit it because we were not having a demo video or an icon. But today I will show you how to do that. If someone else is facing difficulties after explaining yesterday, I will lead you to the same process again. You can open the Pride Ray, you can name it, or you can export it directly from here, which we did yesterday. You can click on publish, go to Spark Studio, select the publish icon. You can export the file, which will be saved to your directory or the path. Then you can upload that file, or you can directly click on upload, which will take you to the Spark hub. Make sure you have logged in your account on the hub or on the web browser. So the effect name is Pride Raise. Yesterday, what we name it, the platforms which we explained yesterday, audience public. So just two things were left. It was adding the demo video and uploading the icon. So let's add the demo video. You can select the demo video, record a demo video from either from Instagram cam or Facebook cam, then save it and provide the path. So I will go to AR files, assets, preview video, Pride Race. I will click on open. So you can record the video and then add it. The Pride Race video has been added. Now you can use the thumbnail or you can have upload an image. By default, it's like this. You can click on replace. You can add whatever the image which follows the Spark AR guidelines. You go to assets. I've saved in this path. That's Pride Ray. And you can click on submit. You can just click, you can save your effect first. So you can check whatever the Instagram handle is, whatever the effect name is, whatever the icon is, and what the demo video with it. And then if everything is perfect properly, then you can click on submit button. So this is how it's going to look. It's under review. It might take, effects are usually reviewed within 24 hours. It might take longer on weekends, at maximum 5 days. So this is how the UI after submitting the effect looks like. File. I will show you one more thing if you want to. So we created an effect just for the single user yesterday. Like if what if you want to try that effect with your friend or in the same on the same device, you want to test for the two people. Are you interested to learn that? I hope till here everyone understood the Spark AR policies, how to add audios, use advanced capabilities like user segmentation and audio, and how to add audio. Closing this, we'll going back to click on open. You will be opening our export file. One thing which was left yesterday, which was mistakenly left, you can change the plane matte, change the blend mode, which is if it's alpha, you can click on add. So now it will look like the laser. So this is how it's looking properly now. And if you want to create the same for two users, then you can duplicate the face tracker. And now you can rename it to face tracker for the user 1, face tracker 1 and face tracker 2 for the second user. Just a second, I don't need one more. You can have at max 5 user in your screen, but it depends upon your device. Just a second, what we were doing. Rename. Yeah, name it to number 2. Currently, if the both are for the same one face, we'll click it to face number 2 for second user. So if you can see, it's showing for 1, but what if I'm having more than one person in the simulator? At the moment, I don't have any of those preview videos on this device. But if we'll try it with 2 users, it will show the same for 2 users because it's for face tracker 1 and for face tracker 2, it should be, yeah, we'll need to add those properties. You can click the patch editor. We're doing the same concept. The material is same. No need to change on that. Only the thing which you need to change is for the face tracker eyelid patch, where you need to provide what we did in the first here. We provided the position of the eyelid to the position patch. We'll need to do the same for the second face tracker. You can click create patch. You can click producer patch. So it will be for the face index. You can see the index 1. This is the index 0 means for the first phase, index 1 for the second phase. You can click on eyelid, search for it, add it. Then you can do the same for the left eye. You can provide the position, left eye center. And for the right eye, you can do the same for the right eye position. So it's all good to go. So this is how you can create an effect for two users present in the same screen, which you can have with your, you can try those effects with your friends. If it detects only single user, it will show the what are the properties which is assigned to the face tracker one. If it detects two users, so it will try to showcase it for the two user, because our effect is ready to deploy for two users as well. So just make sure you change the face tracker second and tracked face two, because we are having two faces now. If it's both are on the same, then it won't show for the second user, and it might be misleading for the first user as well. So for face tracker one, it's face one. For face tracker two, it's face two. So this is how you can have or create, then you can save the project and then publish it. So I showed you, this was just a bonus or pro tip which can be used for creating a more than one user effect, face tracking effect. If you guys are having any queries, you can post that out. So I'm happy to take the FAQs. So thank you guys for calmly listening to the workshop. And the last slide from my end is, it is not what you learn but how you improvise it. The zeal to learn is required. So it's like I taught you some skills, but if you really are passionate about it or you are curious, so you can explore, dive deep inside the Spark AI Studio and try out various combinations. So you will get to learn something on your own. If I insist you to join the Reskill Facebook group as well, where whatever you can create, you can add in that community. So if you need any suggestions, we'll be providing suggestions by, if I can also provide, other mentors can also provide, you can seek validations, and even you will find inspiration while creating these effects. So thank you for the workshop. So if there's any query, I'm happy to take it. I hope till here the process was proper. Yeah, right back to you, Oscar.
Thank you, Pal. It was an insightful session. I hope everyone has learned something today and they'll go back and create their AR effects. We'll be happy to share it on our socials as well. So create your AR effects, share it with us, and we'll put it on our Facebook group and share it from our social handles as well. I've shared the submission form in the comment section. So whenever you create your AR effects, submit it in the Google form. Thank you and have a good day.
Yeah, and before concluding it, I would like to thank Reskill team, Navrachna University team for making the whole workshop seamlessly and proper. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Pal. Thank you for your kind words.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye guys. I hope you enjoy a weekend.